Hello, and welcome to another episode of My Pictures, coming to you live from the communist country of Canada in the foothills of the Canadian Rockies. So, The Economist magazine has been coding our reality for quite some time. If you go back to Israel being bombed by a bunch of people that were flying in on hang gliders, and then lo and behold, it happened. So you have the blue and the red. The blue and the red, if you mix it together, is the cold bloods and the warm bloods. And the blue and the red make purple. Purple rain, United Kingdom rain, UK rain. You see this Phoenician color encoded automatically. Then you have the sports, the FIFA, and all of your sports being fake. Then as we go around this globe, you see the 99, the red balloon, conspiracy regarding the red balloon, satellites, spying, bombs flying, missiles. You see a lot of the dollar signs because it's an Economist magazine, right? It's all about money and not about coding the evil plans of the World Economic Forum. You see the robots here, and you see the spilling of the wine a lot. You see the three communist nations there, Xi Jinping and Putin. What I found interesting is this ship with the nuclear bombs in this shipping picture, and HARP, direct energy weapons. Found that pretty interesting. That's been talked about, that technology is real. The enslavement with this handcuff of this prison planet and the American flag behind it. You know, the 33 encoded in the American flag. The robot dogs here. And a lot of medicine, a lot of pharmacia. And here's your Phoenician boat. And, you know, if we were to rip apart this encoding and these submarines and all of this stuff, it really doesn't matter. You see little emoji here and Donald Trump with the mega hat and the stock market crash here and the two swords. In these two swords, you will see a pentagram in this structure itself. If you look closely, you'll see a pentagram. But I thought I would just start off with this decoding of that. Then I wanted to talk about the seven churches. And the Rome is right here. And the seven mountains and the Hura Babylon, it says, sits on many waters with the seven mountains and the seven minds, the seven Ruko'oth of the Holy Spirit, the seven candlesticks, the seven colors of the rainbow. You know, we talk about these pentagrams just with Outback Steakhouses and them making pentagrams. Well, it wouldn't surprise you if you go to Hornsby Island Mysteries that the same thing with these monuments. They're all over the world and they're all showing you pentagrams. And it's not just Outback Steakhouse, believe it or not. It gets pretty crazy down the rabbit hole when you start looking at all this encoding. So the Panda Eyes fiasco is still going. You know, panda eyes, they're just mocking you, what they do to our children, and they're raping and murdering. Here's Michael Jackson with his Kabbalist wristband. And DiCaprio, part of the World Economic Forum, talking head of the occultist, Kabbalistic practices. Here's, you know, the wristband and showing you that it is part of that Kabbalah. And so when you see these minions, these RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, they're just following orders. They're a bunch of thugs bringing in their World Economic Forum. So we see in Canada and all over the world this happening, and there's really not much we could do but stay in prayer and in worship. So the name of Yahuwah, Yahushua, Yah is salvation, in case people are still calling him Jesus. That's not his name. What you see here is this ostrich farm and this culling in the background, and these monsters pushing this insanity. is that they were having a cure to COVID, but they didn't want you to have the cure. And so these minions in all of your predictive programming are actual true experiments done on our children. And so you'll wake up to this fact that your policemen are puppets committing murder, sedition, and treason, just following orders. And that the worship of these pagans and these ritualisms will come to an end, as everything will come to an end. I wanted to revisit this Chinese moon rover, how they were showing this nuclear bomb going off in Russia. So the start of World War III and the desolation, the absolute destruction of what we know. Just to remind everybody that all these people are raised in the same occult. Here's Mrs. Rockefeller and Mr. Hanks, a known Rockefeller that disappeared in the Amazon and reappeared as Tom Hanks. They all change their names quite regularly, like Bob Dylan is Mr. Zimmerman, and Benjamin Netanyahu, that's not his real name. And they worship those that have the 6 fingers. So in your iconography and archaeology and everything that you see in ancient history, you will understand that they worship the fallen angels. They don't worship the Creator. So it's always about 33. 1/3 of heaven fell to earth. Rocky Balboa, whoa, Adrian. Yeah, and you see these monsters constantly posting their 33 all day long, right? So just keep that in mind. Here's your 666. Just thought I'd put that out there. And so as we move forward, you'll see in the Paleo-Hebrew abad, a primitive root abad, and worshippers. Mischievous. So make no mistake about it. The called out assemblies and the ancient cave drawings and pictures that are given to us by people who've done tons of study, they've been decoding this occult for quite some time, and we now know their language and are watching their sedition and murder and treason. Here's Dr. Bezos here. Here's Dr. Bezos with this panda with the one eye symbolism. The one eye of the panda's covered. And you see he's starting to look gaunt because these evil spirits have taken them over and they're being controlled as well. They're just puppets as well, right? So they're threatened with treason and sedition. Then you have this psyop of the, this trust the plan, you're eating popcorn, and they got you the Pleiades and the symbolism behind this Alpha, the Aleph, and the Tav, these 3 eclipses that went over America. And so these star systems and maps, this is all controlled opposition as well, once you wake up to that fact. When we look at sacred geometry and frequencies and sounds and human vowels, it is said to sing your prayers unto the heavens that they hear you, act in love and not in peace, or not in war, not in anger. Here's another evil man, Howie Mandel, who took a paper bag and cut it up for Wayfair and said, hey, you could store your stuff in this bag, and when you unfold this bag, it ends up being the logo of Wayfair, where they sell your children on the internet. And how interesting that they have all these Apollyon, NASA, the Deceiver, and all of these crests and these systems. And then you see what he's promoting here is this hologram technology in his spacesuit, in his jumpsuit. And what he's showing you is that the Charlie Kirk assassination was most likely a hologram, and it's all fake. But you guys could start doing decodes on this if you wish. It doesn't really matter that much. It's all coming to an end whether we like it or not. The mark of the beast was argued that it is the 144. and that our DNA strand is a double helix here, and that by adding in the mark of the beast, you've just tripled helixed people, and that would be 666, 216, or 666. Let him who have understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and you've defiled your temple. Woe unto you who defile your temple, you shall surely die. And so we talk about these things. And King Charles and Queen Camilla, by the way, he is not my king. He is a pagan worshipping Freemason puppet. But here's just a representation of their pagan Green Man or Hulk, call them what you want, and their pagan iconography. And of course, all your Hollywood weirdos, Hollywood, Wood of Holly, the spellcaster's wand showing you the pyramid. Just to confirm all of that Kabbalistic. Here you have the Freemason square and compass and the Zionism. And you see the crest, the cross, the Christianity, Zionism, the one world religion, one world currency, one world government. The three Abrahamic faiths joined to one. That's your one world religion coming to you live through the Vatican, Vatica, meaning the snake. So you see this iconography over and over again of the Ouroboros eating its tail, and the swastika, and the Star of Rephaim, and the Egyptian Ankh symbol in the middle there, and a witch. And you need to look no further and count these spikes of the sun, and you will realize that it is 33. So yeah, these universities and these systems that have been put in place to indoctrinate all of our politicians and leaders of the world. Here's Trump with Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who owns all the books in all of your high schools and in all your universities, and all of these monsters hanging out and have been hanging out and have known each other for quite some time. And they've been doing this murder, sedition, treason, and genocide. So you see more of these Russian leaders, world leaders, and they're all hanging out with the same Zionist, devil-worshipping, child-trafficking, blackmailing Mossad monsters. Here's again Ghislaine Maxwell's father hanging out with all of these Prime Minister of France, and it just goes on and on where you see these monsters all hanging out. Yeah, Itzhak Shamir. You know, the guys hang out with everybody. Here he is with Prince Charles, Prince William as a kid. Yeah, so you see these monsters and their affiliation, Queen Elizabeth, Ghislaine Maxwell hanging out with the Queen, all pedophiles, Epstein Island, child murdering and raping monsters, just hanging out. Lady Diana hanging out with Mr. Maxwell. And so this is why there's no list. Release the list of Maxwell and Epstein Island. Why not Aga Khan Island? And why not P. Diddy parties and all of the world leaders? Because they're all in it. Here's a crisis actor. Just another crisis actor crying and pretending to cry about his poor, tough times, seeing all of these fake psyops. So you see the Kabbalistic wristband again in your Holly Weirds. In your transgender monsters. This one bragged about having a ritual where the Freemason Jesuits all raped her, and she was okay with that. Again, another monster. And we've already talked about this monster, but they all wear this red Cabal wristband, so make no mistake about it. Here's your another monster wearing his red Kabbalistic wristband. So if you think they're coming out to save you, they are not. This is all controlled opposition, and this is all coming out in the open. And so as I move forward here, Charlie Kirk, we've seen this hats 33, 47, 47, 47, 11. 11 times 3 is 33. This coding and this arch of the Temple of Baal in DC. And they're putting another arch Trump wants to build. And there's many of these arches all over the world. You could tell by their hand symbolism that they're all in on it. It doesn't matter who you look at. All of these world leaders are doing this. Andrew Tate, if he's even a guy, who knows? They do it all the time. They have no choice. When you understand that all of these fires in all of our recent history, all of them, right? You have to understand that the great fires that destroyed all of this Tartarian empire to build back better, this isn't the first great reset, okay? Here's your basketball star that pretends to be a woman that isn't, he's a man. And there you see the Ankh and the Egyptian iconography tattoos showing his allegiance to the demons, demonia. And here you have CNN stage clearly showing you whom they worship with Caitlin Collins, CK, or Clark Kent, CK, third letter, K, 11th letter, 33. And then you will see these rituals of these Hollywood delete and their symbolism, how they affiliate with this pagan, child-murdering monstrosity. Everything is a ritual and a photo op for these monsters. Don't eat at McDonald's. It's been tainted with human meat. Get to know Hebrew, the origins of the language. The name in Hebrew is Savior. And so Yahushua, or Yahuwah. And if you look at the Strong's numbers, you will see the translation and the language, how it has changed over time. But his name most certainly is not Jesus. This I find very interesting because, again, with predictive programming, you have Nixon doing this, and then you have Trump doing this to the Russian. And it's such a weird state that this man, who hasn't aged a day, is still there in the foreground, in the middle of the two. And this photo op should be shared all over the world because nothing new under the sun. They reduplicate and replicate their blaspheme because they cannot create. Starbucks logo for those people that still want to buy poison from the Zionists at $5 a cup of coffee. It's ridiculous. These are all pagan worships. They're all monsters. It's time to wake up and come out of Babylon. Come out of Babylon, my people. Okay, Rosanna's coming out and saying, oh yeah, we gotta save the world, and they're eating babies, and then she's got the Black Eye Club. You could look up the Black Eye Club, but there's Pete Hegseth with his Freemason finger. That's my cookies are coming off. Pope. The Roman, and he was called out to be the last pope, meaning the end of the world. Here's some crisis actors for you. Yeah, all of these people were raised in the cult, and all of these people, Podesta, the pedophile, and Barack Obama, and Epstein, are all raised in the same occult, and then they all become world leaders and very powerful leaders in the world. So yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell and her Black Eye Society. Prince Charles and his father, another demon, Black Eye Society. Again, when you look at the Black Eye Society, demon-filled monsters, World Economic Forum monsters, you'll realize how this all ties into the occult. For example, when these monsters, these puppets for the Freemasons and the Jesuits all died in the same week, one was at 71, one was 76, and one at 54 years old, that it all equals 201, the 201 number, event 201, the whole idea that these people are part of the occult is evidence when you see this ritual murder of their own. They're probably in some bunker somewhere. Just saying. We don't know for sure. Just like Charlie Kirk, that predictive programming. Let's get the Christian Zionists angry and let's start moving on this Christian Zionism nonsense. The Pope lives in Suite 201. The Freemason, that night in Toronto with checkerboard floors. It's in your music, it's in everything. So just be conscientious of this, that this is all about a one world religion, one world currency, and a one world government. And when they fly around this cabal, this Black, the Cube, Saturnalia, this was noted that these people were flying around. This is Jonathan Kleck in his videos. In the movie The Cell, people were running around these cell phone towers, and ants run around your cell when you put it on the ground. We found animals, all sorts of ocean beasts, all swimming in circles. So these weapons are real. They're being used against humanity. Here you see the Last Supper, and then the blaspheme mimicking of the Last Supper in the Olympics with these transgender monsters. And so they will continue doing this. Here's Timothy McVeigh, just another crisis actor that was regurgitated, reused. He didn't take out the building. He was just an actor. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein, hanging out with the Queen on the same log cabin, the same structure, the same everything. They're all in on it. Mark Carney, traitor. His wife hangs out with Ghislaine Maxwell. Here's Tom Hanks, as above, so below, with this Baphomet signal in Forrest Gump movie. You see these things and then you realize, oh my goodness, wow. Yeah, they're all staged. This world is a stage. This whole idea of getting this crisis actors and manipulating your behavior to hate your brothers and sisters, to destroy each other, when we are to wake up and we are to realize this is all manipulation. Yeah, this creep, another child rapist, wearing Monica Lewinsky's dress. That picture was taken from Epstein's penthouse. Yeah, and then another crisis actor, some transgender boxer, doing an interview with another guy with a red Kabbalistic wristband, Tucker Carlson. This guy who sold us down the river as well, Conservative Party of Canada. And don't forget the Baphomet, as above, so below, this signal of this astronauts, meaning astronauts. They didn't go to space, but Katy Perry supposedly went to space with Oprah Winfrey's boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is. Make no mistake about it, they didn't go to space. It's just theater. Again, Biden, circle back. Got your hands a little high there on the circle back girl when she was younger, because you were all hanging out when you were young, raping and murdering these children and then giving them a raise. And Anthony Blinken, stepson of Samuel, the lawyer and confidant of Robert, and father of Ghislaine and accomplice of Epstein, they're all connected, just so you know. And so they're not going to stop, whether Pierre Poilievre with their menorah of the 9 candlesticks, because it is in blaspheme of the 7 menorah candlestick, P. Diddy party. Oh, I gave my life to the Lord. Which Lord? Did you have to take the hard-boiled egg test to be part of their cult, their club? All 3 of these women, degenerates, all turn out to be connected to families of Zionists. Interesting. By the way, sociopaths dance where there's people dying, not doctors. Just saying, all your transgender people out there, it's a dude. It's a dude. It's a dude. It's a dude. Sorry, it's a dude. They're gay. Just come out of the closet, you bunch of Satan-worshipping monsters. There's that 33 again. Yeah, there's Aleister Crowley. Interesting. Just identical twins almost. They didn't go to the moon. Here's 2 sets of shadows. There's only one source, the sun, so that's all a lie. This transplant CC 33, third letter of the alphabet, third letter of the alphabet. Yep, more symbolism. Yep. Yeah, and you could look at the Ghislaine Maxwell, hanging out with Ghislaine Maxwell, and he's running the country of Canada, destroying the economy to build back better. And so, yeah, make no mistake about it, Mark Carney is a traitor. You don't iron on badges on the uniform. These are crisis actors. And yeah, we're faced with unveiling the truth. Here's another monster with his little daughters that have been probably sexually molested more than once. He was pinching the nipple of his own daughter during this video. Pretty disgusting and telling. More pedophiles hanging out with more people. And this gentleman, when he grew up, he ended up having a band named after pizza. Hunter Biden having sex with a child. There she is there, the poor little thing. Yeah, and again, a child. They sure love children. Nancy Pelosi's nephew with a child. Chuck Schumer with a child. Nancy Pelosi's nephew. They're all in on this occult. They're all crisis actor playing roles, trying to divide you. What they do is they murder your children. They bludgeon your children, devour their blood. And all of this has been happening for quite some time. A113, it is the adrenochrome molecule that you see in all of your posts. There's the prophecy, the last space for the last pope, the Roman. And so, yeah, you see these Klaus Schwab puppets that are all evil and they're committing murder globally. Again, more Zionism, more, oh, don't worry, we got this. No, they're committing murder. They are monsters. This isn't art. This is evil. And that's what they do all day long, 24/7. And it's time for you to wake up to the fact when they're showing you Macaulay Culkin and his pizza band that he too was brought up into this world, raped, and MK Ultra'd Katy Perry, who's now hanging out with Justin Trudeau, another Pizzagate MK Ultra boy pretending to be a girl, another Rockefeller, and Lincoln Park, who was murdered. We have a Lincoln Park here in Canada. Tom Hanks, I'm not allowed to talk. Yeah, hot dogs and hamburgers around the clock. All monsters, predictive programming. Here's your Kabbalist Tucker Carlson with his red Kabal wristband. 33%. Ooh, I'm just so happy. Not these monsters. Here's more pizza nonsense. They worship those that have 6 fingers. In all your statues, you'll see this. In the cave drawings. All these statues that have 6 fingers in many cultures, in many different diverse regions of the world. You will see these cultures with 6 fingers. They worship the giants, the Nephilim, the Nafal. This flag came out. 6 fingers on that flag. They're still to this day worshiping the fallen angels. CC 33, MK Ultra, 3M 33, Captain Crunch 33, Milky Way WW 33, Kansas City Chief CK, K being 11, C being 3, 33, Ku Klux Klan 33, Walmart 33 with the Star of Rephaim, Windows logo. It's in everything. So it's time to wake up. Share this video. Be blessed. These monsters with their one-eye symbolism and their occult rituals are all gonna burn in hell for what they have done to humanity. May you be blessed.